Hola Queens, it's your girl Queen T here, also known as the one and only fiance coach. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and I welcome you. Today we're going to be talking about premarital counseling, couples counseling, whatever term you prefer. I felt like this is something that a lot of women, especially women who are pursuing kingdom marriage, consider. Or maybe there are kingdom men who talk about premarital counseling. And if you're meeting your spouse in the church, this is something that your pastor or your church probably recommends that you do, or it becomes a requirement that you have to do in order to get married by the church. There are so many different standards that can come with premarital counseling. I didn't want to come to talk bad about premarital counseling, and I didn't come to actually heavily promote it. I am very neutral when it comes to premarital counseling. I actually have done premarital counseling in two times that I was engaged, and I learned a lot from it. So maybe you can take something from what I have to share and apply it to your life as you best please. All right, so premarital counseling. The number one thing that I would recommend that you don't do, queens, is force your man to go to premarital counseling. That's right, forcing him to do it. Forcing him to go to premarital counseling is going to end up being a big mistake. It's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to regret it. You don't want to force your partner to do anything, and your partner should not be forcing you to do anything you're uncomfortable with. Instead, try a softer approach to it. See how he feels about it if premarital counseling is something that you're considering. If he's on the fence about it, you may just want to take that to God and let God wrestle with his king about that, his young king about that, and not try to force him to do it. When you force someone to do something, you're forcing a lot that the person isn't ready for, and you're also forcing the relationship, the engagement, wherever it is that you are in your phase with the person. You don't want to do that, because in counseling, a lot of things come up. And let me let you know this: premarital counseling does not determine that your relationship / marriage is going to make it. It doesn't. I can honestly say one of my engagements, we were in premarital counseling before we were even engaged. And what it taught me, to be honest, was that we weren't even good for each other. And I didn't expect that to come from it. I didn't. And honestly, we started with this couples counseling that had nothing to do with Christian principles, because the person that I was with at the time, he considered himself a Christian. I paused a little bit on that. He considered himself a Christian, but more like a nominal Christian. He didn't like the church. He would always make comments about you Christians, those type of guys. And it's just wait, I thought you were a Christian. But we were in couples counseling, and it wasn't with a counselor who was in alignment with Christian principles. And we went to her for a while, and we learned a lot about each other. But after a while, I said, you know what? I need something more. You're talking about marrying me, and we were engaged by this time, and we ended up seeing another counselor. And in that moment, I think we learned that we're just not right for each other. There was this test that they had given us, the counselor had given us, and the only things we seemed to have had in common was our viewpoints towards family, about family roles. That was it. We had so many other things we did not have in common, and not even that. I could tell that I forced him to go to counseling, and he let me know that he felt forced, because as soon as counseling was over, he was out of there. He couldn't wait. It was punishment. And we didn't get anywhere, because here it is, this person is sitting in counseling, and you think that you're getting through to them, but sometimes they can be putting on an act. So that's why I heavily caution you to not force your significant other to go to counseling. The second thing is premarital counseling can be really good, because there are a lot of things that come up that you probably don't know about this individual. Something that people neglect to talk about when they're dating is finances. Do you know if that person's in bankruptcy? Do you know if that person had a foreclosure? Do you know if that person's credit is jacked up? Like, do you know if that person's good with money? These are things that when you're dating, you're not even really thinking about because you're so into the person. They're cool. You have a good time with them. Whatever the vibes is when you're around them, you're not even trying to look for the flaws. But premarital counseling can help you put a magnifying glass on things that the person or even you have been hesitant to talk about. And you can kind of get a sense in premarital counseling when a topic is uncomfortable for another person. It will come up. So I would definitely say that's one of the reasons that premarital counseling is good. Now, when I said that I'm kind of neutral about it, I admitted that I was one of the women that forced my significant other to go to premarital counseling. There was my first engagement. I never even thought about counseling, couples counseling, or any of this, but my first engagement, my fiance was the one who brought up we should go to couples counseling. And we maybe went to like 1 or 2 sessions, and I just was like, really? Is this guy serious? But if you read my book, 3 Rings and a Promise, you'll get more of that. But premarital counseling is something that you don't want to feel like you need to have in order to have a successful marriage. My caution to you is that whether you go to pre-marriage counseling or not, you still have to know what type of person that you're going to be. You have to have an idea of the type of person that you think this other person is. And yes, you may get the answers in premarital counseling, but a lot of the answers will just come from spending time with God. God will start to reveal that person's character to you. God will start to show you things about that person before you say I do, to let you know and get a glimpse of this is the person that you're saying you want to marry. A lot of times we think that people are going to change with marriage. I've heard women also say that they thought their partner would change after they had a baby. These things don't change people. If anything, a lot of people don't do well with change, and it kind of takes some people a bit longer than others to even adjust to it. So my thing is, if there are things that about this individual that you are hesitant about, I would pause. I really would pause. And that may even require you to say like, hey, I think we should slow things down a bit. You have to be honest with yourself. Marriage is not going away anywhere. I think that was something that I had to help myself realize. Yes, I'm married now, but now I say to myself these days, like, wow, like there was really like this rush to get married. And if you think about it, like marriage isn't going anywhere. Like the government isn't going to come and say that, oh, nobody can ever be married ever again. I strongly believe that if you have a desire for marriage in your heart, you didn't put it there. I believe that the Lord put it there for a reason, and I believe that he's calling you to something, but you should definitely take your time and figure out what that means to you. And I'm telling you, don't have this list of we get together, we jump in premarital counseling, X, Y, and Z. Get rid of the list. Go to God. That's the best thing you can do. Get rid of the list and go to God. Don't force your partner to go to premarital counseling. If they want to go to premarital counseling, that's great. And I notice I use that force word because sometimes there are churches. I was a member of a church that had a requirement that if you wanted to get married by the pastors of that church, you had to go through their premarital counseling with their counselors. And sometimes that's just a requirement. It all depends on how you want to do it. But nowadays, people are able to find pastors on the knot.com and Wedding Wire. And, not pastors. What do you call those? Oh, my God. Oh my gosh, I lost the name, but you're able to, yes, a minister. Oh my gosh, sorry. People are able to find ministers who are able to officiants, y'all, officiants, not ministers. God help me. People are able to find wedding officiants, people who are licensed to marry people in your state and just get it over with. A lot of people are just going to the court, especially COVID is still lurking around. Families are really still hesitant about getting together in large numbers. Even I had a mini-moni. I don't even know where that word came from, but hey, I had a mini-moni and it was one of the best decisions that we did because I'm not in debt for my wedding, thank God. But what you don't want to do is to drag your partner. Literally, I'm thinking of the cake topper with the wife pulling the husband. That's the visual that I have right now. You don't want to drag your future spouse, future kingdom partner to do anything. You shouldn't have to force them. If they are hesitant about it, don't get mad, don't fight back, just go to God. It might not be for you all. It might not be needed. God may just be able to show you things, everything you need to know about that person before you all take that next step, okay? So my thing is today, just don't put 100% of your all into, oh, we need to do premarital counseling, because it does not guarantee that you're going to marry the person. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a perfect marriage. It just doesn't, and I'm going to talk about some other topics as well, because there are a lot of things that us kingdom women do that we believe if we do this, we're going to have this perfect marriage. And a lot of my mentors will tell me there's no such thing as perfect marriage. It's only this idea that we have. But when you're actually living in the reality of it, you really get to see things from another lens, and you start thinking about the woman you were before you got married and all the things you wish you had known so that you didn't make the mistakes that you're regretting. All right, that's my time, ladies. Do me a favor, hop on IG and Twitter and follow me at The Fiancée Coach. Be sure to also follow my women's ministry at My Sister Circle of Christ, along with the vessel and lead of that, Anastasia the Life Coach, on IG. All right, she's Anna at Anna_the Life Coach. That's Anna, ANA, not two N's, but one N. She will bust me out if I let y'all think that she has two N's in her name, okay? All right, y'all, so that's my time. I love y'all. Hit me up, give me your questions, suggestions. I want to hear it all. All right, take care, hit subscribe, share with another queen. Be blessed. Mwah.